Hello, welcome to IDDTalks here at AD University. My name is Anastasia Lavrina, and now I'm joined by a very distinguished guest from London, United Kingdom, Mr. David Moran, who is a former British ambassador and UK advisor at the Caspian policy. Also, before we start, I would like to highlight that from May 2021 to August 2023, David Moran was the United Kingdom government's regional climate COP26 and energy ambassador for Europe and Central Asia. Ambassador, warm welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for your time. So with the activities of the Interparliamentary Working Group between Azerbaijan and the United Kingdom, which is now resumed, does this mark a new phase of political dialogue between London and Baku?
I think that anything that builds up collaboration takes things forward, although there's quite a solid bedrock already that's been built in the past, this is a good time to take steps forward, significant steps forward, because there are quite a few doors that, if not entirely open, they're waiting to be opened, and so that's a progressive step.
Ambassador, following the London roundtable co-organized by the Royal United Service Institute and Azerbaijan Center of Analysis of International Relations, where you also participated, what concrete outcomes or policy steps have actually emerged from those discussions for you?
Well, from my point of view, there's a better understanding of the complexities of not just the region itself and the internal relations, but all the external actors, which mean that in concrete terms, there has to be a stronger policy base for managing those relations, whether they're positive or negative or in between. And I think that these sorts of events does help that, because there were people from the UK government at the round table, and it's helped. And for those who weren't there, I was able to feed some of the information through. In terms of totally concrete stuff, like the work that's going on within the region in terms of middle corridor, these sorts of events can act as a gateway for making further progress. If you're looking at South Caucasus, you're looking at the middle corridor, where you have a situation in the past few years of organic growth and collaboration, which is a fantastic step. And it's not all, because it's combined with individual and group decisions taken on by governments, but not just governments, but business, and think tanks like my own. So those things are quite concrete and in many ways a step forward, particularly if, in my case, my specialty is on dealing with climate change, and climate doesn't recognize any borders, so it's really, really important for the region to work with each other and beyond.
Ambassador, you touched a very important moment here. The Middle Corridor, that is a project which plays a very strategically very important role for all countries, not only in the region of the South Caucasus, Central Asia, China, but also for the United States and Europe. So, and we also know about the growing interest of Washington in the processes here in the region. From London's perspectives, does a stronger American presence in the South Caucasus mean closer coordination with the United Kingdom, or instead a strategic competition?
I think it's in everybody's case to move forward on a corridor that will I mean, be part of the peace benefits, which make a lot of sense economically, probably environmentally too. So, and also there is a commercial element, but America's going to be in first place, I think, because they'll be together with the two countries calling shots as to how that corridor is going to be worked on. But there's a place for Britain. Britain supports all of these things which make a difference politically and economically and commercially. It is a step that was creative and has made it much easier to move forward.
Well, Ambassador, given your background in climate and energy policy, how do you assess the strategic significance of the nuclear deal signed between Armenia and the United States during the visit of the United States Vice President J.D. Vance to the South Caucasus, particularly in the context of Armenia's Metsamor nuclear plant and the region's broader energy security?
Well, I've been recently, in the last year, to all three South Caucasus countries, and there's a real understanding within governments and within the countries of the impact of climate change and the urgency of taking action. The ministries, the relevant ministries in the different countries are well qualified to move forward, but it's a very big job, and that's why coordination is terribly important. And Azerbaijan had COP29. Armenia this year it's not a climate COP, but it's a biodiversity one, which is linked. Nature, helping nature is a big part of tackling climate change, and supporting that COP in October this year will be important for all of us, particularly those countries, Britain and Azerbaijan foremost. We know what it's like to put on a summit, a global summit, and it's not easy. Azerbaijan did a great job in organizing it and pulling it off. So that's going to be a continuous conversation. We also, of course, have the Turkish COP 31, and that's another Caspian COP. And when I say Caspian COP, it's because these COPs aren't just about climate change. It's about energy. It's about everything. And it showcases not just the host, but the whole of the region. That's what happened in Baku, and that's what will happen in Antalya and in Yerevan.
And one more question. How is the United Kingdom, let's say, coordinating its climate and energy transition policies with the partners in the Caspian region, particularly as the region remains both a major energy supplier and an emerging hub for renewables? I guess all of these issues were highly discussed during COP29 held in Azerbaijan in Baku in the end of 2024, but still now, more than a year after, how would you evaluate the strategy United Kingdom follow in this particular issue?
Well, in terms of climate change, there is a real interest in a collaboration with the countries on climate issues. It's not just the Foreign Office in our case, but we've got two other government departments. The Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, which is obviously the climate one. They're very keen working with the three countries. And it's the same in the department called DEFRA, which it looks at nature. and they will be the leads in COP17 in Yerevan. So these people are working with think tanks like mine and with governments. And I think you'll see in Baku and in the other two capitals much more of these people working to broaden their understanding of the region and how they can use that understanding to get good results at the two COPs, not just for Britain or the region, but because it's a global thing, to get good global deals.
Absolutely. So, Ambassador, thank you. Thank you so much for joining IDDTalks today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.